Oh my god, that's great. That is great. I love that. I love that so much.
Times where you're like, man, I feel like I knew that. It just never really dawned on me until now. Today we're talking about Taco Bell, probably the biggest troll in the restaurant industry. Buh! That's not true. Have you read Wendy's Twitter? It's hilarious. Buh! Yeah, we know. Wendy's has a funny Twitter where they clap back at people in the comment section. Okay, what I need you to understand is that Taco Bell has been out here actively trolling entire government agencies, and they've been doing it since back in the 90s before the internet made that shit easy. They're quite literally one of, if not the only pioneer of meme-style marketing. And we're gonna get into it right after word from our sponsor. This video is brought to you by Sheath. Okay, look, I'm not gonna overcomplicate this. It's underwear with a pocket inside so you can stick your junk in it so your balls aren't stuck to your thigh.
I'm stretching it.
Okay, I've got this piece of paper with this page of all this shit I'm supposed to read. Like, oh, they have all these fancy new designs. Like, yeah, that's cool. They're also the official underwear of the UFC. Like, great. Okay, but look, here's the truth. You know who doesn't really need underwear to keep balls from sticking to their thigh? World-class athletes with six-packs. Okay, you wanna know who does need this underwear? Bigger dudes that have been told at every doctor's appointment since they were like 11 that they needed to lose weight, and they just so happen to sweat anytime the temperature gets above 72, okay? Don't fucking look at me and I won't look at you, all right? And you wanna know the best part about this underwear? You can buy a pair, try it out. Worst case scenario, you're like, you know what? Turns out I actually do enjoy my balls sticking to my thigh. You can just not stick your junk in the pocket, and then boom, you've got a normal pair of underwear that feels the exact same, except now you've got a secret pocket that you can, like, I don't know, hide stuff in if you wanted to.
Oh, and you can put your weed in there.
So yeah, you absolutely need to try some Sheath underwear. You literally have nothing to lose. The worst case scenario is that you bought some underwear. The best case scenario is that you never have your balls stuck to your thigh ever again. I'm gonna have a link and a discount code down below. Let's get back to the video. Our story begins in 1948 with a young man by the name of Glenn Bell. See what they did there? Glenn Bell, Taco Bell. Anyways, moving on. Glenn Bell has just returned home from serving his country as a cook in the United States Marine Corps. Okay, right out of the gate, things are already starting to add up. I've said it once and I'll say it again. You don't call up the Marines unless you want something dead, broken, or pregnant, and I've known that Taco Bell was military.
I gotta read these headlines. Hold up. Unaware she's pregnant. This taco is not give birth to Taco Bell. A miracle out of nowhere. Pregnant women are claiming that eating Taco Bell can induce labor. What? What? These headlines are wild.
Military food all along. But Glenn didn't start off by selling Mexican food right out of the gate. He actually opened up a hot dog stand in San Bernardino, California, known as Glenn's Drive-In. And things go absolutely awesome. They go so awesome that after a couple of years, he opens up a second location and expands into not only selling hot dogs, but also selling hamburgers. But then another restaurant comes into San Bernardino.
That's guys. That's great. That's freaking great. Oh my god. Oh jeez, tacos.
Bernardino, California, and they're also just trying to sell a bunch of hamburgers, a little company called McDonald's. So Glenn decides, you know what, I'm not gonna try to out hamburger McDonald's. I'm gonna go ahead and make a slight alteration to my menu. I'm not gonna sell hot dogs and hamburgers anymore. I'm gonna start selling tacos. And my favorite little fun fact about this is that Taco Bell's taco sauce is actually Glenn Bell's original recipe for the chili in his chili dog. Wait a minute.
That's it. Einhorn is Finkel. Finkel is Einhorn! Einhorn is a man! Oh my god!
911, what's your emergency?
Yeah, did you guys know that tacos are just Mexican hot dogs?
Services for emergencies only?
Yeah, I know, but hear me out. This explains why Taco Bell's original slogan was always think outside the bun.
Holy
She is suffering from the worst case of hemorrhoids I have ever seen!
Sorry, I got really distracted. Anyways, he goes from selling hot dogs and hamburgers, changes the name of his restaurant to Taco Tia, and now he starts selling tacos out of a drive-thru window. And his entire strategy is volume. He wants to sell as many tacos as possible, as cheaply as possible. He ends up selling tacos for 19 cents a piece, and the reason he's able to do that is he just streamlines the entire making or assembly process of a taco. And the way he does that is he pretty much exclusively utilizes hard shells. That way, the tacos are just easier to make, and the shells are always ready. And to some degree, he's kind of credited with inventing the hard shell taco, which probably isn't true, but he's definitely the reason.
Like, Taco Tia sounds better, but I feel like Taco Bell rolls off the tongue easier, though.
reason that they became so popular. And if you think that sounds crazy, it's absolutely not. You got to remember, this is like the 1950s. A lot of people in America that weren't near the southern border had never even heard of a taco, let alone had one. For a lot of people at this point in time, the first time they actually had Mexican food was at a Taco Bell once they started expanding. But regardless, the point is, Glenn Bell has officially just become the Henry Ford of tacos, okay? Just mass production. And to nobody's surprise, that goes great. He grows Taco Tia into multiple locations, ends up selling the entire brand off to another company, starts his own company to grow it again. This one is called El Taco. Does the same thing all over again, grows a company, sells it off. This time he wants to do it a fourth time, but he wants to make it a franchise company and he wants to run the entire thing. So he needs some capital. He partners up with 4 players from the NFL's LA Rams, and they—
Wait, so he built up a business, sold it off, built another business, sold it off. Man's just building businesses, just selling them. What the heck, man? Calm down. That's insane. Because I know a lot of people, even they fumble and like they'll struggle really bad with like their first ever businesses that they ever try and build, and then they just build another one and then another one. They'll don't make it successful because obviously someone's buying it. Usually would probably be successful at that point. And to do it a third time, like, man, dude, that's insane.
They end up starting the very first Taco Bell in 1962. And absolutely nobody's surprised, they totally crush it. I mean, they're selling 19-cent tacos to Americans. It's basically a layup. In the NBA, though.
Long pass, perfect to Reese. Well, again, no Brian Reese. To go. Angel physical game. Kennedy, Carter.
Anyways, within 5 years of being in business, they're doing so well that by 1967, other successful fast food franchises are looking to cut in to this fast food Mexican niche.
Well, of
so
course.
Pizza Hut actually starts their own restaurant called Taco Boy, ends up being a huge failure. They cannot out-taco the Bell. Okay, fast forward 10 more years.
I never would have had Pizza Hut on the list to try and do tacos or Mexican. I never would have had Pizza Hut on the list. Maybe that's why they just stick with pizzas.
They crush it the entire time, and then in 1978, they actually do end up getting bought out by a larger company, Pepsi.
Omelet sausage.
Okay, and this is the most important part of the story because this is where shit gets completely out of hand, okay? Pepsi also bought a bunch of other restaurants right around the same time, like KFC and Pizza Hut. But Pepsi wasn't out there buying all these restaurants because they were trying to make money off of the restaurant, right? They didn't think they could sell tacos better than Taco Bell. They didn't think they could sell pizza better than Pizza Hut. They bought them so that they could beat Coke. You see, because at this point in time, Coca-Cola is number one. It's not even close. Everybody prefers Coke, and Coke is in every restaurant in America. And Pepsi realizes that they need to be able to get their soda into restaurants so that people are forced to try it.
Here comes your airplane. There you go. Open into the hangar. There you go. Yeah, eat it. Put it in your mouth and just eat it. God, I hate it.
And at this point, pretty much no restaurants in America are going to willingly carry Pepsi products because everybody wants Coke and they don't want to have to tell every customer, is Pepsi okay? So in PepsiCo's mind, in a complete just gangster big dick move, they're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just going to force restaurants to carry Pepsi. We're going to buy out entire restaurant chains
Pepsi
and then
Lord.
force them to carry Pepsi products, which is going to force the customer to drink Pepsi, and then we're going to get a following. And why this is important to Taco Bell's story is because the new owner of Taco Bell doesn't really give a shit about tacos. Okay, new mission is not to sell good quality Mexican food at a fair price. No, the new mission is get as many motherfuckers through the door as possible and force them to try Pepsi. And at this point, Taco Bell, aka the restaurant founded by a Marine, is like, I'm gonna do dumb shit and troll everybody.
Oh.
Which, to be fair, is a completely reasonable reaction when your entire company basically gets turned into a front to waterboard people with Pepsi. Okay, we're just gonna take the shenanigans from the top, okay? In 1992, Taco Bell hired Johnny Cash to be their spokesperson, right? And I know what you're thinking. Why is that funny? Johnny Cash is awesome. Seems like a great spokesperson. A, I completely agree. But B, it's funny because he's the guy that got famous for singing The Ring of Fire. Okay, moving right along, the very next year, 1993,
God.
Demolition Man, the movie comes out. Okay, for those of you that are not familiar with this cinematic masterpiece, here's the entire plot line. We're gonna take Rocky, we're gonna put him inside of a popsicle, and then we're gonna thaw him out like 100 years in the future so that he can fight Blade with blonde hair. So Taco Bell jumps in and they're like, you know what? Make us every single restaurant in the future. During the storyline of this movie, have a little offshoot where you pepper in the fact that every restaurant in the world is now Taco Bell because there was restaurant wars and Taco Bell fucking won. Okay, the longer this story goes on, the more sense it makes that it was founded by a Marine. By the time 1996 rolls around, they decide they're not gonna just troll their customers, they're gonna start trolling everybody, including the United States government. So what they did for April Fools in 1996 is they took out a full-page ad in the 7 biggest newspapers in America claiming that Taco Bell had reached an agreement with the U.S.
Hold on. Taco Bell buys the Liberty Bell. In an effort to help the national debt, Taco Bell is pleased to announce that we have agreed to purchase the Liberty Bell, one of our country's most historic treasures. It will now be called the Taco Liberty Bell and will still be accessible to the American public for viewing. While some may find this controversial, we hope our move will prompt other corporations to take similar action to do their part to reduce the country's debt. I respect this April Fools. I respect the hell out of that. That is freaking great.
government to purchase the fucking Liberty Bell and that they were renaming it the Taco Liberty Bell instead. Now, bear in mind, this is 1996. Public outcry is still moving pretty slow. There's no Twitter, there's no social medias where people can just immediately be a reactionary at the drop of a hat. No, if you want to be upset about something, you've got to write a letter or you've got to go get a phone book, track down somebody's phone number, and call them. There was so much public outcry that by noon of April Fools, the Philadelphia branch of the National Park Service had to have an emergency press conference and tell everybody that it was just a joke and that they didn't sell the Liberty Bell to a taco company. Also worth noting, because it's funny, the White House press secretary at the time, when he was asked about this joke, decided to be a complete smartass and respond by saying, and I quote, "The federal government is also selling the Lincoln Memorial to Ford Motor Company and renaming it the Lincoln Mercury Memorial."
At least someone has a sense of humor. That's freaking great. I love this. I love this so much.
Selling the Lincoln Memorial to Ford Motor Company and renaming it the Lincoln Mercury Memorial. And my personal favorite, in 2001, the Russian/Soviet space station Mir was gonna collide back to Earth. Okay, this is like the last remaining symbol of Soviet space travel success, and it is gonna fall into the ocean.
It's got to be his big break. We've got to fuck with him.
So Taco Bell is like, fuck it, we're gonna get a giant inflatable target and stick it in that part of the ocean with a big ass bullseye that says free tacos here. And if the Russians can manage to hit this fucking target with their space station, we're gonna give free tacos to everybody in America. Okay, this is why Pepsi's my favorite soda brand. Do I like the taste? No, but I just like how much they hate the USSR. Okay, for those of you a little fuzzy on the timeline, the USSR disbanded in 1991, right? 6 years later in 1997, Pizza Hut, the other restaurant owned by Pepsi, gets Mikhail Gorbachev, the former leader of the USSR, to appear in a Pizza Hut commercial to send the very clear, very loud message of communism can't out Pizza the Hut. And now, 4 years after that, the Mir space station, the last remaining symbol of Soviet success at literally anything, is about to fall out of orbit and collide with the planet, and a taco company is putting a giant target in outer space, offering free tacos to the entire country that beat them in the Cold War if they manage to hit this target with any remnants of this Soviet space station. Not only is this going to maximize the amount of people watching with anticipation as one of the last living memories of the Soviet Union dies, it's also one giant last middle finger letting them know, hey, today, we have complete confidence that you guys always miss, which is exactly what happened. The Soviet space station did not hit the target, probably because it wasn't at point blank facing a wall, and Taco Bell did not have to buy everyone in America a taco. So Taco Bell is just god tier level shit talking and trolling, but on top of that, they also have brilliant marketing ideas. My personal favorite and most infuriating, mostly because it didn't stick around, was in 2017, Taco Bell collaborated with Lyft to have a taco mode inside of their app. And what taco mode was is that when you got picked up by your Lyft driver, they would then immediately take you to the closest Taco Bell drive-thru, let you get food, and then take you home from the bar. Okay, I don't know how this feature didn't stick around longer. Maybe I'm in the minority, apparently, but this is exactly what I want, okay? I spent my entire childhood getting told don't talk to strangers. As a grown-ass adult, there's nothing I want more in my life than to be able to summon a stranger with my cell phone and have them take me to Taco Bell before dropping my drunk ass off at home. And you know what? I'm gonna order all the ridiculous shit they've had on the menu over the years, because remember, they're only there to push Pepsi products. They don't care about having good quality Mexican food, and that's why they've essentially turned their entire menu into a circus show. I love it. The entire menu is just like the shit that you would talk about with your buddies when you were like drunk or high. Like, bro, you know what would sound good if we made a quesadilla and then turn that quesadilla into the shell for a burrito? We'll call it the quesarito. Oh man, this crunch wrap sure is good. You know what would make it better? If we replaced the hard shell tortilla on the inside with a giant fucking Cheez-It. And you know what? While we're at it, we might as well make the hard shell tacos shell a giant Dorito. Why not? So
I have fell victim to the Locos Taco. I'm not even gonna lie. I love those things so much.
Oh yeah, in conclusion, that is the story of Taco Bell. That time that a Marine came home from World War II, started a Mexican hot dog restaurant that somehow perfected the art of shit-talking, trolling, and creating weird menu items, all on its quest to force people to drink Pepsi. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch over at thefatelectrician.com. Quack bang, out.
Pepsi ain't that bad. I mean...
You know, for once, I know this video is super unhinged, but I feel like it's not my fault this time.
I got nothing against Pepsi. Like, I will admit it's not my, like, favorite drink. It's definitely not my favorite, but, because I am partial to, like, stuff like Sprite and like, but I don't really drink a lot of soda to begin with, so my opinion isn't really too valid there. Wait, is this also Pepsi or is this also Coke? Now me checking this old soda can from the other day. Let me read! Are you sideways? Who is this under? Taco Bell is the same four ingredients, just put together different ways and called different things. I kind of agree with that, but I also kind of don't see it. Maybe I just haven't had enough Taco Bell to have that. It's true, because I like them both, though. Like, the thing is, I like some Pepsi products, but I also like some more Coke products. But, like, the one that has always confused me on whether or not it is Pepsi or Coke is Dr. Pepper. Like, I'm not sure if it's just, like, it's distributed by one or the other and its own separate thing, or if it's, like, its own entire entity by itself. Like, I'm not even sure. Yes, I am a Dr. Pepper enjoyer, and you can fight me on that. Dr. Pepper is like my favorite soda. Fight me. It's all beans, bean, cheese. It's all beans.